It's been a month, so I do apologize. It won't be that long anymore. I got to just figure out a way to shorten these videos. Sometimes I go on rants and it's like the opening is like 16 minutes and I don't even know if anybody even gives a shit about what I have to say in the beginning of these videos, but I'm going to tell you anyway. It was the kidney stone. That's where I've been for the past couple of weeks. I went to a wedding in Texas and it started to hurt when I peed. And I'm like, okay, what's going on? UTI, STD, no idea. I get home. Every day it just got worse. It was like a steady stream to a shorter stream or less powerful, and then it was just a trickle, and then there was nothing. So you can imagine. I mean, I was so backed up with piss. I was ballooning like the great bitch from or blueberry girl from Willy Wonka. I mean, it was my stomach was out to here. I looked fat. It was disgusting. I was like septic. I had like pee like shooting out of my ears and my eyes. And imagine having the pain was unbelievable. Imagine having to go to the bathroom, having to pee like you've never peed before for 2 straight days, and you can't do anything about it. So I obviously went to the hospital. They bring me back there. Long story short, they're trying to get the catheter in me. It won't go in. At this point, I'm like, do I have cancer? Am I going to die? Am I going to explode on this operating bed where we sit? They get 4 other nurses in there. And they finally get the catheter. They're like, it might be a blood clot. They're jamming it in my dick. They're jamming it in my dick. Okay. They finally push whatever the blockage was back into my bladder. Turned out to be a 12.5 millimeter kidney stone, which, by the way, they say without anything over 7 millimeters, you absolutely need surgery. The pain will be too big to push through your urethra. And I pushed a 12.5 millimeter meteorite through it, and it was jagged. And it looked like an alien rock. It was disgusting. And it split me silly. It was like having a child. I don't want to hear about childbirth is tough. Pass a 12.5 millimeter kidney stone through your D-hole. Childbirth. So yeah, they shoved the stone back in me. They're like, your blood work's fine. You don't have a UTI. You're great. You're good to go. I get home and the pain comes back. It was great to release all the pee out of me. 2 liters. Like I said, I was backed up for days. They'd never seen anything like that. But then when I get home, they gave me the good to go, and then I get home and it comes right back. So I have to sit in traffic back to the hospital. It got to the point where I had to jump out on the highway in traffic and pee blood all over the middle of the highway with people watching me. Hide your kids, hide your wife. I have kidney stones. So I get back to the hospital. It's too busy at this point. They just give me painkillers, send me home. The next day, I still don't know what's wrong with me. I'm like, I'll never have kids. I'll never be able to come again. Excuse me. I know that's like, but this really happened. And this was really going through my head. I'm like, I'm never going to be able to have an orgasm again. I'm never going to have kids again. I thought like I'm just paralyzed from the dick down. So my body is telling me, you got to get something out of you. But the pee will just not, it's just like, tick, 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 like the smallest trinklets. And then boom, I sit down and it shoots out like a rocket and splits me. It was like the most relieving pain I've ever had in my entire life. Cause I was like, oh, okay, that was the issue. The foreign object in the toilet at this point. Why they didn't know that it was kidney stone when I was at the hospital is beyond me. Could be medical malpractice. I might even have a suit in that. But I'd never pursue that because whatever. But it came out and I felt great. And now I feel amazing. So that's where I was for the past 2 weeks. I was dealing with absolute torture. If I ever needed to torture somebody, if I ever joined the mob, I'm just going to be like, guys, we just got to give them kidney stones because that pain is unbearable. It was literal torture. I couldn't imagine living in the 1500s and having to deal with that with no hospital, no painkillers, no nothing. And I didn't take painkillers for the first 2 days because I was like, the painkillers won't take this away. I have to pee. It's not going to make me not need to pee. Unbelievable situation. I'm so glad I'm through it. I'm so glad I just feel okay now. It's just, don't ever take peeing for granted, ever, because I won't. So yeah, and then I guess, so now that we're through that, hopefully, you aren't too grossed out and you're still sitting there. I guess my stock tip of the day and the reason why I've made deep 5 figures in the past couple of weeks while I was passing the stone. And I think I would equate that to the fact that I was actually remaining calm. in my trading. I wasn't focused on the second to second action of the stock. I was more focused on the fact that I might be paralyzed in my private areas. So the reason why that helped is because I would buy something and I'd say, okay, that's got to be a good buy. And then I'd go back to getting catheters, and then I would check my phone and I'd be like, oh, it's up. I could sell it. I'd sell it, and then I'd, sit there in the bed, look. But basically everything, I was calm. I wasn't overreacting anything. I wasn't emotional. I was emotional towards my health problems. I wasn't emotional towards the market. And I know this. Everybody knows this. But it actually, after that, and this week, I did the same thing. I wasn't over trading. I wasn't over buying, because you can also overbuy. I wasn't just buying things because I wanted action that day. I was buying things that I was specifically like, okay, I know that this has a very good chance of working out. And then when it did, I didn't just sell immediately because I was up 2-3 grand. I let the stock play out. I let the chart play out. I let it hit a peak and then said, okay, this might not be the exact top price that I could have sold at, but you know what? I'm still up $7,500 here. There's liquidity on the bid. Let me take some. Let me get out. And again, just calm, not paper handing trades, because I tend to do that. I'll wing $20,000 or something and take a $200 profit, which that's not a bad thing. I'd rather make 200 than lose 200, but I was always like, I'm selling too soon. I know that this has more room to work, and I just was getting antsy. So sometimes you need to have diamond hands. You don't want to have diamond hands in the OTC. You don't want to have diamond hands in any of these small caps for too long. But again, let the chart play out. Let it hit its peak. And then when you notice that the selling's starting and the volume's drying up, and there's people being like, I'm not going to really smack that ass at this price, that's when you dump. So I'll just go over a few stocks here. Let me make sure that you can see. Okay. This is Jag X. This is the one that I've been trading very successfully over the past couple months. I hit it 6 to 11. Then I hit it like 19 to 25, and I should have held all the way to 37. But again, I paper handed that. But I was up a significant amount. I've just been making money off this. This has been a very, very, it's like an ATM. This thing has volume. It's got eyes. There's a lot of opportunities in this. So I took it from 25. I was telling you on Twitter, 25 is probably going to be the reversal point, and that's exactly. You could tell they were just trying. I don't know if it was the algos or the MMs or what, but they were trying to get it down to 25, which was previous resistance. As you can see, you run that right across there, you can tell that's where they were going to stop it. I told people 24.5 to 25.5 is the buy zone. I got in at like 25.3 average for like 140,000 shares, which is a significant buy. I sold it up here half. I sold like 75,000 shares up here. I bought back down here, 28.5. Actually, it was like, I don't even know how. Look at that. I mean, it hit 28. It like literally, and I can't believe it filled me for 50,000. It like literally must have hit exactly 25.5, because that's the bottom of that candle. I wasn't even looking because I was hanging out with friends, and I was just put in the order for 25.5 or 28.5, and it smacked it to the T, and then it went back up. Not up significantly, but still, when you have as many shares as I have, every tick counts. So as far as what's going to happen within the stock, they have on Tuesday, they have something, their earnings release is dropping. I don't expect much from it. I would like them to pre-PR something tomorrow. If something comes out tomorrow, especially pre-market, you might be able to see a break at 35 or 36, 37, the tops of these wicks, which I guess would now be considered resistance, and you're probably going to go to mid 40s. So hopefully they know what they're doing. They drop another PR. They're known to PR a lot, which is another reason why they have a lot of liquidity and a lot of opportunities. If they PR something in the morning, I'm looking for 45. I'm not selling anything under 40. If they don't release anything and it seems weak, I'm probably going to take it and wait for a drop to 22, which is the middle Bollinger Band, on, let's say, Tuesday afternoon, whatever. I'll be looking for another bounce zone. But the middle band is usually what would tend to, where it would tend to stop. At least that's what I've seen. So be looking for a low 20 range if they don't PR and they miss on their earnings, or it's nothing like drastic, like we're gonna drop the phase three trial tomorrow, because that's like the big catalyst in this stock is their phase three trial that's coming out. That's something to pay attention to, because the day that news comes out, I will buy it and hold it, because it's going to run for a couple days. That's the type of news that you buy and hold. So that's Jag X. Next is one that I don't like to admit that this is actually a play right now, because everybody involved in it is just so dumb and I can't stand them. And I'm sorry. And I'm sure that if you're watching this, you're expecting me to be like, it's like the next Amazon for Asia. That's fine. Believe whatever you want to believe. Hodl it to your dead. Hodl it until the cows come home. Do whatever you want. But I'm telling you, eventually this thing will go back down. Just like every other penny stock in the history of penny stocks outside of like Monster Energy and Pier 1 Imports. Okay, you're not going to be everybody that's like, we're going to be billionaires, we're all going to Puerto Rico, we're all going to Vegas, we're all going to the Bahamas, and I'm paying for everything, I'm getting the yacht, we're going to have ladies there, we're going to have everything we need. Those people will be broke for their entire lives. There will never be a trip to Vegas. There will never be a trip anywhere. The only trip that they're going on is to the bank to ask if they have any money left. Meanwhile, I'll be day trading it, and I'll be going to the bank and I'll be saying, hey, how are you doing, Frederico? I haven't seen you in a couple hours. Yes, I'm back. Yes, I did rob everybody blind in IGPK. Why? Because they actually believed that it was a real legit company and it wasn't a scam. So I said, okay, I'll buy it here and I'll sell it there and I'll take the money and I'll bring it to you, Frederico. No, don't call the cops. This isn't robbery. It's not a crime. This is legal. I know. It's unbelievable. You just find idiots that believe in these penny stocks and you take their money and you bring it straight to the bank. And that's called realized gains. That's not called paper money. That's not called paper gains. Paper gains don't last. They go away, especially in penny stocks. Understood? Okay, good. That's what's going to happen in IGPK. No, but that's fine. Okay, because right now it is a play. There is going to be coming volume in this. The only reason why I haven't bought this yet is because they keep saying that they're going to drop filings and they never did. And they're in a grace period. I buy big. I'm not going to put 20 grand into something and then get expert market and lose all my money, because that's what will happen if this ever goes to expert. Now they still have some filings to upload. They just did the yearly, which finally they got access. These are all good things. I'm telling you, I like this stock right now. I just don't like it for the future, and I'm not going to be a billionaire off of it. But tomorrow, this thing is going to blow up. The chart doesn't really even need to be looked at. They just filed something that's, look, I even had, this is what you can tend to do. Okay, look, this is why I know what I'm freaking talking about. When it broke below this channel, obviously it was channeling on these lines. It broke below it, and you had an opportunity. When I was telling you to sell up here, because I was saying sell 12, that was resistance. If you had sold that, you could have waited and bought back in. I know that this went lower than 4.2. Oh no, it was on this day. So it did drop, and then it popped back again, because why? It broke out of this, over this line. It broke the trend. It blew up. Then I told everybody, oh, wow, you got super lucky. This thing's coming back down. And then it sended you the devil's dildo straight to the core of the earth to live with the devil and all of his demons. And you could have bought back in at what? 2? You could have sold 2 cents and bought back in at 0.2 of a penny. I did. I bought here, or I don't remember exactly. This was a while ago, but I flipped this for like $12,000. I made like $12,000 in that flip, which was incredible. And that's it. That's probably more than most people have realized in the stock, and they've been holding it for 6 months. Okay, so one day, one flip, in and out. Then it just started to, honestly, it's tremendous strength. It had a lot of people believe in this penny stock. That's what's holding it up. Don't care about the company. Wouldn't care if they sold socks or moon rocks on Mars. Doesn't matter to me. But it is extremely strong, and it does have the volume that I need. And the technicals are looking good. Your RSI is above 50. It's probably going to head into the 90s. Your MACD is curling up, and it's not overbought. You're not overbought. Like this will run tomorrow. This will 100% run tomorrow. Now the question is, do I chase the gap? How big is the gap going to be? Because it will gap up. It's not going to open at the same price. It closed at 13.8. This thing could open at 18. Because they released something that they've been waiting on for so long. The reason why this is a day trade for me, and I won't hold overnight, is because they are still in a grace period. And OTC markets is known to like screw people over. So let's say they posted their annual. But the annual wasn't all OTC needed in that grace period. Maybe they do need Q1, and maybe they take a few more days to do that, and then they still go expert market. Now, they would probably get out of the expert market, but if you're holding stock overnight, when that thing goes to expert in the morning, you're fucked. You're going to lose everything that you might have to, you're just going to get bagged. You're going to have to wait for the price to hopefully go back up there. Hopefully they get the filings in, but you don't want to be in the stock if they do go expert. I'm not saying that that's going to happen. I'm just saying that is your risk. That is your downside. These are the things that the pumpers aren't telling you. They're going to tell you that you're a billionaire and you're going to Vegas and you're going to drink caviar and you're going to eat caviar off of women's tits. It's not going to happen. Those people are lying. They know what I'm saying is correct. They know that I'm right. They know they're just trying to fool you. They're trying to get people to hold because the price can go higher so they can sell at a higher price point. But this has a massive risk of going expert market and you'll lose everything. And then you'll hate me and you won't hate the pumpers, which is beyond my comprehension. But I've been doing this for years and years and years, every day, all day, in, day out. Night, I eat, breathe, sleep. I have sex with stocks. So I know what I'm talking about when it comes to this type of shit. You can either choose to listen to me or you can choose to listen to the people that are basically scamming you, making you think that this is the next big thing when it might be, okay? It might be the one in the billion needle in a haystack. I just don't approach any stock like that. I don't care what it is. I've seen too many things. I've been in bankrupt stocks. I've been in ones that have gone to expert. I've held penny stocks. I've interviewed CEOs. I believed the hype and it made me broke. And now I don't. And now I make thousands and thousands of dollars a year. So that's IGPK. You take it with a grain of salt. Do whatever you want to do. I'm not telling you where to buy, where to sell. I'm just saying this price is going to go up tomorrow, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to buy and sell it within the same day because it will be a moneymaker tomorrow. So we'll see what happens with that. The next one is Aller. I mean, I've been trying to trade this for a while. It's a tough one because there's so much dilution involved. Like they make it look good and then they just dump it. And then they make it look good and then they just dump it. I caught this run 220 to 260. I had put like 22 grand in it to buy 10,000 shares and immediately sold it for 4 grand. That was a nice win for me. But look, I mean, they immediately toasted it. This is what dilution looks like, is these wicks and these drops. These wicks are these candlesticks and these drops. I mean, but this thing, it looks like it just wants to go. It's still so oversold. The RSI is in the toilet. The MACD is so far down. You get a little bit of a green candle here, which is actually showing like it might be ready to go again. You've been seeing some positive momentum towards the upside. It seems like they want to keep it in the 70s, but they're not able to. Too many people are buying down here. You have 127 as your mid-band and $2 as your top. I would recommend buying this and maybe just holding it, especially if you work and you're like, and just set your sells for 127 or 194, whatever you want to do. But I do think that this will eventually run into those price points. Just let go of the dilution for one day, for the love of God. I want to like you, Aller. I do. But it is a very dilutive stock. So those are basically my 3 picks. I've been talking too long. But Aller, ALLR, it's a bio stock that has potential upside. It seems like it's bottoming and it's oversold. You have IGPK that just got a catalyst over the weekend, which is going to blow the stock up tomorrow. God only knows where, but there will be a lot of opportunities for day trade. Just be weary that it could go expert market, and you don't want to be holding overnight. And then you have Jag X, which we have to see what they're going to put out. Hopefully they put out some type of PR tomorrow that leads them into their earnings release. I will be out of the stock before the earnings drop because whenever there's something that people are waiting and they're like, oh my God, it's not going to work out. They're going to tank it. Unless they came out and said phase 3 was a success, we got FDA approval, whatever, during the same time period of their earnings release, then we might be talking a different story. So we got to just pay attention to that one this week. But that's actually my only position at the moment, and I do hold a lot of stock. And notice how I don't pump it. I'm not saying like it's going to 45. It could go to 45, and I want it to go to 45, but I can't tell you that for sure. Things still need to happen, and I'm very open to the fact because my buy-in now with my second flip, it raised it to 26 something. So I have a lot of leeway on my downside. I can just set a stop loss for 27.2 and end up getting out break even if that's what I decide to do. So that's the video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully you don't get a bladder stone ever in your entire life. And if you do and your wife tries to tell you it's like being pregnant, tell her you have no idea what you're talking about.